Well, hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Firmamental podcast. Hello to all the Firmamentalists out there. Your boy Raul's back in the house. I got Alex, and we got a very special guest. This man needs no introduction. He is a big name in the flat Earth community. He is the inventor of the Flat Earth Clock app. He's also one of the headliners of the upcoming Flattoberfest in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's the curator of the website, theflatearthpodcast.com. He's a major player in the truth community. Firmamentalist, please say hello to Dave Weiss, aka Flat Earth Dave. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me. Good. Love talking to, some people that get it, awake and aware people. Although I do love talking to people that don't get it. Okay. But tonight we're talking to people that get it, an audience that gets it. But you got one thing way off. I am not a presenter at the Flattoberfest. I am just on a panel on day 2. So I'm just there meeting people, talking to people. I'm going to have a little table where we can hang out and talk, but I'm not presenting.
Oh, okay. All right.
No worries. I present every day. I'm here. Everyone's seen my presentation. They don't need to see me in person. In person, we can have some real conversations and, looking forward to it. Heading to Vegas. I'm heading out Friday morning and, it's going to be a great time, great people. Just, I always say the conference is great, but the conference is just a distraction from the giant meetup, because it's a giant meetup, right? It's just everybody getting together. That's 90%, right? The conference is 10%. Don't get me wrong. Going to be great presentations, great seeing information coming from some of the best people when you're hanging out with other flat earthers. Have you guys been to any big meetup conferences yet?
I have not. Alex,
not yet, but our goal next year is to have Firmamental at Flattoberfest. So that's another reason why we wanted to talk to you tonight.
There you go. Well, there's nothing like when you're in a crowd of people and knowing that no matter what direction you turn, there is not a normie there is a awake, aware person that you can have an in-depth conversation with, and it's really an experience not to be missed. But people are doing that all over. People are having meetups everywhere because of the app. People are finding everybody near them and creating meetups, and people are it's great to get together. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, definitely. So how many days is this conference? Is it just one day? Is it a couple days? Is it through the whole weekend?
It's October 21st and 22nd. So Saturday and Sunday. And it's in Las Vegas. You can still get tickets now if you want to buy them before you get there. It's if you go to on the app or just go to my website, flatearthdave.com, click the shopping cart on the app. It'll bring you to it, or on my website. And you can use the code Thanks Bob, all one word, for 10% off. But it's kind of, like last minute. I don't know how many people plan to go to Vegas the last minute, but a lot of people just like, hey, you know what? Road trip, let's go. It's worth it. It's such a great time. And so it's 2-day conference. But
you know what's funny is
getting there Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, people start leaving.
Well, I know there's a Wu-Tang and Nas concert there at the MGM Grand too, because my wife and her friend are going to it. So I'm all jealous about that already.
Wait a minute, at the same time? At the same
yeah, there's a Wu-Tang and Nas are going to have a concert.
But did she leave you home with the kids?
Yeah, I think it's Saturday night.
So go with her to the concert and just say, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom or something, and then just go run over to the conference.
Right.
They got babysitters in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I get it.
So go ahead and tell us who are some of the presenters at Flattoberfest this year, and how is this orchestrated? Like, who's behind it, and give us some insight.
So the organizer is Karen B. She has her channel, Karen B. She does Strange World every Tuesday night. What's today? Monday? Tuesday night with Mark Sargent. And Karen, she's been putting conferences together for the last 5 years. They've all been in South Carolina, but this is the first year she's making it more international. There's people coming from Australia, from the Netherlands, from all over the place. And the presenters are Jaron from Jaronism is going to be presenting. I know you got Austin Whitsitt. He's always quite amazing. You got who else? You got Mark Sargent's going to be there. You have allegedly Dave from the UK. You have Mark Devlin. Those two are going to be not to be missed. Jason Lingman from the Crow 777 Radio, and you got I'm probably forgetting. Oh, Amanda Vollmer, not to be missed. You guys know who Amanda is? Amanda, the greatest naturopathic health administrator on the plane. Right? She, if all of the medical field could just follow what she does, we'd have no issues. Amazing. So you got I think I got pretty much everybody. You got Jason, I said, you got Mark, Jaron, Austin, and we have music by Chief Crow and the Earthworms, and oh yes, and Benjamin Balderson, another a great presenter. So those are the presentations. Maybe there's one or two I missed, but it's a big hangout, and it's just really a great time. We're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and this venue, what venue is it being held at?
It's off the strip, which is good because there's a huge construction for a racetrack going down the strip, so it's really a nightmare down there. But it's off the strip, about 15 minutes to the side, and it's called Sam's Town. But if you go to anybody that's literally interested in going at the last minute, go to flatearthdave.com, click the Flattoberfest banner. All the information is there. Try to find a hotel. If they you might be able to get rooms there still. I don't know. And it's gonna be just a really great hangout. The weather looks amazing. It's gonna be high 80s during the day and 60s at night.
Oh yeah, you can't beat the desert weather this time of year.
Yeah. So
yeah, so you said you're not actually presenting at the conference, but you're going to be there. You're going to have a booth.
We're gonna there's tables with vendors and stuff. I have some stuff that I'm selling. I have amazing Shilajit, if you know what that is. If you don't, it's a whole other story. And just some other stuff. And I'm also giving out cards and everything for people to hand out. Stuff that people that like waking people up to flat Earth. I give them cards that make it super easy for people to learn about flat Earth, because with the censorship, fortunately for me, fortunately for everybody, the app is the best way to find the information. What do we all walk around with? Like our phones in our hands, a lot of people all the time. And so when you're in a long line or stuck in the car or just whatever, you have content that you can be listening to and watching and learning. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was actually going to say, Dave, about the censorship. I tried to go to Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole today, and I'm in Canada, and I was actually blocked from going to the website.
Well, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, it should point you to Flat Earth, theflatearthpodcast.com. It should take you right there. Yeah, they're doing some weird ass stuff. Just so Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole.
Yeah, no, I'm just letting you know. And I showed Raul a screenshot today as I was and Google is for censorship right now. So I'm actually search engine optimization, and easy what Google is actually doing and censoring, like on purpose.
What did you end up at? Because Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole now goes to my new site, stoplookthink.com. So there, we get these attacks all the time that take stop stuff from being rerouted. But I basically have two websites: theflatearthpodcast.com, and you can get there by going to areyouabluedot.com, flatearthjew.com, flatearthdave.com. I did that for Owen Benjamin. It was funny, but it works. There's a whole bunch.
I got there via flatearthdave.com.
Flatearthdave.com. And that's the easy one, because everybody remembers that. People go on a show and they do a great presentation. At the end of the show, they go, tell my listeners how you can find it. It goes, well, my Facebook's this, my Instagram's this, my website's this. And they list off all these things, and nobody remembers any of them. Okay? You don't. You mentioned two, you're gone. Right? And people aren't sitting there down and flatearthdave.com. You can't misspell it. You can't forget it. It takes you there. If you want to find Flattoberfest, if you want to book me for a show, if you want to find my playlist, if you want to find my app, if you want to find where I'm presenting next, which is after Flattoberfest, I'm presenting in February at in Acapulco, Mexico, the biggest truth conference in the world,
dude.
And we're taking over there, by the way. There are a lot of flat earthers there, but you can find all of that at flatearthdave.com. Again, in the app, if you want to learn about Acapulco, you hit the shopping cart, and then you hit, did I put it in here? Yeah, top right there. It says Acapulco. And so far, well, these are 4 of the speakers. There's only like a dozen speakers, I think. These are 4 that are flat. You know, we got Beth Martin, Steve Faulkner from Space Busters, amazing health truther. Charlie Robinson, which is
Charlie Macroaggressions.
Yeah, Macroaggressions, and then Jeff Berwick, you know, the guy that puts it on. They're all flat. Dave Weiss is flat, right? Flat Earth is taking over that conference. It's over. This is the
there you go
right there. So, and I think that there's several other speakers that are quietly flat, and I want to get their permission before I put them on my slide. But if you're looking for vacation, a lot of people are like, hey, where are we going to go this winter? Go to get away for a week. Go to Acapulco. It's the most amazing time ever. And go check this out. And then there's a discount code, not a code, just if you go through my website or through here, you get 10% off. It's not a big deal. Tickets are fairly expensive, but they're highly worth it. Highly worth it.
Yeah, I was familiar with Acapulco from listening to Macroaggressions. It's been a while since I caught an episode, but I didn't know that Charlie Robinson's officially Team Flat now, huh?
Oh man, he's been flat for a long time. He's big flat, but
yeah, okay.
You know what? Here's the thing. Here's how I look at people. There's a lot of people that have voices out there, and we need to talk about everything. Okay, I'm here talking about flat because I say the foundation of where your world is the most important thing, and then you can talk about everything else. But there's people like Charlie that talk about all of these other important things, right? And he's just like doesn't flat Earth isn't his focus. But then you have people, not picking out any names, like Larkin Rose, who is an amazing truth teller, who is amazing. He made that. Did you watch his movie, the Jones Plantation? Phenomenal, teaching normies about where we are all slaves. We're no different than the slaves were. We're literally on a plantation of America. And but he hates flat Earth, and he'll argue it. It's unbelievable, right? He hates it, but his arguments are literally 2017 Flat Earth 101 ridiculous arguments. But for some reason, some of these great thinkers have this block and they can't get through it. You know, Max Egan, he is triggered by flat earthers. I don't blame him, because flat earthers are really aggressive because we're so passionate. And when, you know, and they twisted him the wrong way. So he can't get by that. He knows the world is not as described. That's it. He knows. Look, globe. He's way past the globe, but he'll never say flat earth because he's just got this bug up his ass about it, which is fine. He does great work. There's so many flat earthers like, well, if you don't talk about flat earth, you're dead to me. You know, they throw the stupid phrase, they throw the baby out with the bathwater. People do great. Just don't, if you don't like flat earth, don't talk about it. All right. And I'm fine with you. But if you're going to badmouth flat earth, you're going to hear from me and others also. So.
See, the way that Alex and myself kind of look at it is that there's true earth, and then there's the lies that scientism tells us, right? There's the heliocentric nonsensical model, and then there's the geocentric true earth model, you know? And flat earth is the way that people find us, right? By looking into this, you know, like, you went with George Hobbs. You've been on a guest on George Hobbs' podcast now, I think a couple times, right? Or just once?
No, twice. Just the other day I was on with him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you've been on twice, and see, George Hobbs kind of like gave birth to this show, because I've been a guest on both of his podcasts, and he kind of influenced me to start my own show off of being a guest on Fact Hunter and Flat Earth Files. And that's why it's kind of cool to hear a guy like Charlie Robinson. I didn't even really know he was Team Flat, because mostly he just talks more of the political, esoteric kind of stuff, you know, behind politics, you know, and So it's pretty cool to hear about that. I did hear on his podcast though that he said last time he was in Anarchapulco, I think he did shrooms, and he talked about that experience on his podcast. I thought that was pretty interesting.
I'm looking forward to doing. There's supposedly some good shamans there to do some ayahuasca while I'm there. So I'm going to be there for.
That's what it was. Is ayahuasca.
Oh yeah, ayahuasca. If you've never done it, when it comes calling, you need to listen. But just jump back to Flat Earth to George. He's the Flat Earth Files right here. Flat Earth Files right there. He's up on the leaderboard. 142 referrals for the app, climbing up high, and good stuff. He's in a fight with my lunch break. Do you guys watch My Lunch Break?
No,
I have not got into that podcast yet.
Yeah, well, that's one that you gotta get into it. On the homeschool section of the app, right here, first one, My Lunch Break. This guy breaks down. He looks at these old buildings, looks up, when was it built? Who built it? And the stories are hysterical. Literally, it's a comedy show. Okay, but he's just looking at the historical narrative, and it's all complete and total BS. All right. Everything, all of our history is such a lie. Eddie Bravo said, when he, was it Eddie Bravo or was it Sam Tripoli? No, I think it was Eddie. He's like, what I think, but don't quote me. He said when he discovered flat Earth, he was kind of like depressed because he's like, that's the last big aha moment I'm ever going to have. Nothing will ever beat that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not true. It's not true. Okay. Flat Earth is an aha moment that never goes away. I'll give you that. It's
there. You go.
Every day it's there, but there's crazier stuff on flat Earth. I mean, once you see flat Earth, then you get into the giant trees and the biogeology, and you get into, our completely lied to narrative and how cities and buildings were founded, not builded. Okay. They were founded in 70, and then you look at the picture when this building was founded in 1801, and you look at it, go, that building looks 500 years old. Okay, because they found it after reset. So don't worry about not having your mind blown after you discover flat Earth, and don't worry about hitting the bottom of the rabbit hole because it's bottomless.
We know this, and Alex, I'll let him speak for himself here in just a second, but Eddie Bravo is actually the one that I think turned Alex on to flat Earth. Isn't that right, Alex?
Yeah, the Tinfoil Hat podcast with Eric Dubé, Eddie Bravo, and Sam Tripoli. I'm like, these guys are ridiculous. I'm going to prove it wrong. And 2 or 3 hours later, I was kind of having a moment in the corner where I was like, oh my God, I'm becoming a flat earther. This is crazy.
We've all been there. You've heard my story. I refused to look, and then I was forced to look, and I'm like, right? So, and then we all have the same story, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. And and nobody's ever everyone's like, oh my God, you poor flat earther, you stupid flat earther. No one actually, after completely realizing the earth is flat and understanding it, regrets knowing. It's like wanting to take the blue pill. No one wants to take the blue pill. Going back in the Matrix is not even an option. Even if it was an option, who would do it? Who would live blind, like all of the, no offense, sheeple walking around, having no idea where they live or who they are, or the power that they have, or what this realm offers.
Yeah. Well, that's what's amazing about flat Earth to me is just like you said, the rabbit hole never ends. And once you have this realization, I mean, for me, I come from more of a Christian viewpoint of the world. I have a more biblical flat Earth viewpoint. But even then, it brought more sense to the Bible to me than the heliocentric model that I was taught all my life. Well, and then you look at these things such as the story of creation, and you look at evolution and all this stuff, and it really shows the amount of lies that have been told to us throughout history. And to the flat Earth model, to me, geocentrism to me is beautiful.
Absolutely, and if you think about it, you say it's more beautiful, the biblical version of it. Well, the purpose of the heliocentric satanic system is to hide spirituality, hide God, hide creation. Because I love science. That was my religion, science. Now, science, the scientific method, that's not a religion, that's science. But science that they feed us in school is pseudoscience. It's a religion, right? And and I was looking into religions, when I was younger, and I would say, oh, look at the stupid Bible. It says the stars fall to the earth. A star can't fall to the earth. A star would eat the earth. A star is like the size of a house, and the earth is the size of a grain of sand, right? It can't fall to the earth, right? So I literally discounted all of the Bible from that one friggin' sentence. Okay. And there's a whole bunch of other ones that if you don't know if the earth is flat, God put the earth on pillars and said it's immovable. What do you mean it's immovable? We're spinning, whirling, and twirling. Discarded, right? All of these were told that we never verified, that there's no proof of, that we think are facts. That pushes you away from understanding what this place is. So that's, why the lie? Why would they lie? Why wouldn't they lie? This is how they maintain their power. This is how they stay in power.
Alex,
and power going. We keep it,
Alex.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Sadly, I've run into like intelligent people and just trying to talk about this, and they get triggered, and it's
the programming.
It's
phenomenal,
right? Because they're too smart for flat Earth. Like it's just too dumb for them. And it's like, man.
It's when the hardest ones are teachers and professors and scientists. They're the not hardest because they know so much. They're just the most indoctrinated. How do you become a teacher?
Yes,
you memorize and regurgitate perfectly. Okay, you memorize and regurgitate perfectly, and that's how you become a teacher, right? The what's the where is it? I have a thing. So people say here it is. It says, modern education, creating people smart enough to repeat what they've been told and follow orders, dumb enough to think this makes them smarter than everyone else. Okay? That's education, indoctrination. Amazing. It's amazing, this world.
Yeah, thank you, Rocker.
So crazy, yeah.
Thank you, Rockefeller.
Yeah. Amazing.
I did have I don't know if you want to do this now, Raul, but we want to try and win some Bitcoins.
Oh yeah, beautiful. Good luck.
Did you have any questions, Raul, or do you want me to start?
Well, because Alex and myself, obviously, name of the show Firmamental, and we are Team Flat. So it's not us, but we asked, I think we just kind of sent out some messages to friends and family that we have, and ones that we know that
non-flat earther questions.
Right. Yeah, non-flat earther questions.
All right, we're
gonna.
Good. Sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna fire a few of these off to you.
All right, hold on. We haven't had any discussion. Let me play Kreskin. How does the sun set on a flat Earth? Wouldn't it be light everywhere? Is that the first question?
That's one of them.
All right, wait, hold on. How about boats going over the horizon? They disappear from the bottom up. Doesn't that prove the Earth is a globe?
Okay. Did you have that one, Raul? We're playing like bingo now.
Yeah, no, I don't have that one. I have.
All right, we'll let you go.
A little surprising then. Go ahead, Alex. I'm gonna let Alex go first.
Have you guys discovered the biblical section on the app?
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Yes,
no.
I've started looking at that one, and that's the one that I even want to look into a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm aware of it.
Great stuff on there. And if anyone has a church that they go to and they're flat and they want to wake up their pastor, it's either the top one or the second one. It's called Dear Pastor. It's by my co-host Matt Long from the Flat Earth Podcast, who comes from the Bible side. He offers to teach pastors about flat Earth, and his 7-minute video, I think it should just wake you up. You can't watch that video and go, the Bible's not talking about a globe. I mean, you can't watch that video and remain a baller, in my opinion. But good stuff. All right, questions. Go ahead, hit me.
All right. So my very, very good friend Jeremy from Manitoba, he is a firmamentalist, but he's not a flat earther. So
interesting.
I told him David Weiss is going to give you 2 Bitcoins, and I'm going to take one as a commission.
Oh, you're going to take one. You're going to take one. That's fine.
One for me.
Why did you just offer him all 3? Because he could hope for the 3 because you're not going to get the 1. Okay.
But you know what? It was actually fun. Like I wanted to have this conversation with my friends, and I'm excited for them to hear this episode and hear you, because I don't think a lot of people in that aren't flat earthers know about you yet, right? So this is just a great way for new people to come in and meet you.
Well, if
So
they Google flat Earth, they end up at the flat Earth Dave, Professor Dave, the phony fake Professor Dave video. But they don't realize that anybody with half a brain that watches that is like, why is that guy acting like that? And really, he's presenting nothing, and he's acting like a child. And then they end up emailing me, go, listen, I'm not a flat earther, but why did he act like that? And then I'll send them a video that I know is going to wake them up and that they would never would have seen. And then usually a couple days later, I get an email back going, holy crap, this is real. I had no idea. And so that video is waking up people that I would never have been able to reach. So I'm a little thankful for it.
Sure. So the first one, and I thought it was really good too, because it's one of the things I researched. It was on the moon phases and the geometry. So his thing is the geometry of the way the Earth and the moon line up, and how the Earth gets in the way, and obviously causes the phases of the moon happening, and then the lunar eclipses as well. He says that bothers him so much that the Earth cannot be flat. It has to be that the Earth gets in the way of the sun, and that's what's causing these things.
Yeah. So
I hope I didn't butcher it, Jeremy.
Well, you didn't butcher it, but even flat earthers get that one wrong. The phases of the moon have nothing to do with the Earth getting in the way of the sun. The Earth, that's called an eclipse. People get confused over that. The phases of the moon have to do with the angle that the sunlight is hitting the moon. Apparently, that's what they say. The problem is when you look at the moon, the moon's supposed to be a dusty, dirty ball for one, right? And we see all the astronauts on it, of course. And that dusty, dirty ball is reflecting light back to Earth so bright that it'll cast a shadow on the ground, right? That's impossible. And when you start doing the math, if you got to within 100 miles of the moon, the moon would have to be like 60 times brighter than the sun, right? Which is impossible. When we're outside standing next to like a cement ball at noon, how come it's not blinding me? It's close. You're closer to it. So the light that's reflecting off of it should be brighter. It's not casting shadows. It's not lighting things up. Okay. But so the moon is its own light. But I think that the correlation from the sun to the moon is there is a correlation, but I don't believe that it's sun reflecting off the moon. I believe that the sun is the positive and the moon is the negative, and it's literally sending energy there, and the moon is fluorescing. Together, they make an electrical circuit with the Earth, with the toroidal field, with everything else. So it's one big battery system. We'll get into that a little bit when your gravity question comes up. But there's about a week every month where the lineup of the sun and the moonlight don't line up. They're off. They're off a bit. Okay. But and people say, well, what about the craters? The craters, I could see the shadow of the crater. You know what? I don't like calling them craters. Those might be dense, but we really don't know. But they if you're sending electricity to something and there's a crater, the dip in that crater isn't going to get the electricity, right? And so it'll be dark, right? And the problem is during a solar eclipse, nobody ever sees the moon approaching, eclipsing, or departing the sun. Okay, no one ever sees it. So if it is what they say, how is it that nobody can ever see it? How come they can't film it from the International Fake Station? How come we can't film it with an infrared telescope or even just your naked eyes during a total eclipse when the sun is completely blocked and the Earth shine should be lighting up the moon 6 times brighter than the moon lights up the Earth? Okay, so there we go about that. There's that. I was trying to.
I think so many people have a hard time even conceptualizing the moon being its own light, because we're not taught that in school, right? I think that's one of the big things.
That was one of the major turning points for me in becoming a flat earther, is when I found out, well, obviously the Bible, when you start to look at it that way, right? It says God created 2 lights, a greater light and a lesser light, one to rule the day and one to rule the night. Yep. And then you turn around and you find out that moonlight is
Cold.
colder than moon shadow, that doesn't make sense.
And
it's not reflecting light. That was a big one for me.
And just be careful. That is true. I've tested it and I've seen it done, but there's 100 different ways to do that test wrong and get a false positive. Because people like hold cardboard over the ground to make the shade. Well, that cardboard's insulating the ground. Okay, so it's warmer in the shade, right? You have to do it where you're not insulating the ground, but if you do it, you'll still find a major degree difference. Here's a shot. I'm showing a shot of NASA showing the Earth transiting the moon transiting the Earth from 1 million miles away. Well, that would be a full moon. How come it's dust? How come it's gray? Right? We know what a full moon looks like. It's bright. It casts a shadow. But the sun is behind the camera here. Why isn't it lit up? Why is the Earth lit up and the moon's not lit up? Again, we all know that NASA's faking it. And here's a shot. Every month for a couple of days, close to a week, the angle of the sun on the light on the moon doesn't line up to where the sun is. Unless, of course, it's a local. Both of them are very local. And it's like looking up at a streetlight above your head. Okay, that one's up there, but the streetlight down the road is down lower. Okay. Right. And so,
yeah,
not really down lower. So, if there was a correlation of the light hitting that, it would look like it's off. That's only with local lights. But if it is a distant millions and millions and millions of miles away that the sun is 93 million miles away, you wouldn't have this discrepancy. You wouldn't have that.
Yeah. I think that's important too, to point out to people is that their numbers are a lie, right? One's 93 million miles away and the other one's 237,000 miles away. But these two celestial bodies just happen to look relevant in size to one another and can line up in the sky and block each other out.
Right.
The chances of that are numerically like impossible.
Well,
almost, I wouldn't even know the astronomical numerical chance that phenomenon would happen with the distances that they give us.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is. The sun's 400 times bigger and 400 times farther than the moon, so they look like they're the same size, or maybe they're just the same size, right? And the odds of them in this heliocentric beehive, right, that we live in, right, things spinning in all different directions, lining up perfectly would be 0.00000. I mean, it would be like winning the lottery, the Powerball every day in a row for a year. Okay. And the chances of it doing it a second time, forget it. Astronomically ridiculous. Well, do you know that there's 2 solar eclipses every year? Every year there's 2 solar eclipses. And after 19 years, the entire system repeats and you can know exactly where they're going to be every 18 or 19 years. So once you have this cycle down, you can predict all of the future eclipses. The globies out there are like, well, you need to have something that predicts your model, right? NASA, the globe, predicted the eclipse. No, they didn't. NASA on their website says they get all their eclipse predictions from Fred Aspernak. Fred Aspernak knows the Soros cycle, or he probably has another Antikythera mechanism that he's not telling anyone about. You guys know about the Antikythera mechanism?
No, I don't.
No.
Okay. We have a working model. It's thousands of years old. And it's technology that we could barely reproduce today if we had to from scratch. But luckily, we found it sunk off of Greece next to the island Antikythera. And it's 2,000 years old. And it is so complex. And they MRI'd it and X-rayed it. And they rebuilt it. And it shows you all of the eclipses, the planetary.
Oh.
Right. The Antikythera mechanism. And if you looked on your app yesterday, you had a pop-up that says the mechanical realm.
That's what they consider the world's oldest computer, right?
Yeah, well, it goes beyond that. It absolutely 100% proves that the Earth is flat and our history is a lie. So it's called the mechanicalrealm.com. Everybody write that down. The mechanicalrealm.com. It's also on the app, on the shopping cart. It's the first button right there. The mechanicalrealm.com. You can download this movie. It's 10 euros. What is that in dollars? It's right on $10. And it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So when the Globers go, where's your working model? Take that video and, stick it where their sun doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And that's another big one for me is megaliths. I look at we look at ancient man as being these knuckle dragging, and they were like living in darkness, and like we're more advanced now. And I think we have lost a lot of what they had. And obviously, right, like they try to tell us that they know how the constructs of our universe works, and they come up with this extravagant heliocentric model, but then they can't even tell us like how the pyramids were built. And then you go look at these megaliths, whether it's Serpent Mound and how it lines up to Polaris and points to the true north, or how the three pyramids of Giza line up with three stars in Orion's belt. They have 2,000 years ago, and they still do today. Like, if we're on this ever expanding universe being flung at these cosmic speeds and constantly shifting through the cosmos in an ever expanding universe, those things would have moved by now. You know,
they claim that the shaft in the Great Pyramid is points. It used to point towards Thuban, the North Star, 2,000 years ago, and now it just happens to point towards Polaris. And in 2,000 years, it'll point towards another star, which is absolutely 100% ridiculous and stupid, right? You guys know that in the Georgia Guidestones, there was a hole that lines up with Polaris, and okay, so we know that was built in 1981, I think, and we know that 1 degree in the sky is like 3 moon widths, I think, and it was up for over 40 years, so that's at least 1.5 moon widths, a half a degree. Well, that would knock it right out of that hole, and you shouldn't be able to see it. And guess what? They blew it up. A terrorist blew it up, and so blew it up, just part of it. And instead of investigating, they literally had the bulldozers there a couple hours later, and they bulldozed the whole thing, right? Because that was living proof that the Earth is a flat, rotational, non-rotating plane. And I think because we talked about it so much that they realized they needed to get rid of it, so they made up a whole false flag about it. But when you look at the motions of our that's not what I'm showing. When you look at the motions of our world, you can't fathom how, with all the twirling and whirling, how would Polaris stay in that hole? Well, it's so far away, there's no parallax. Check this out. Imagine a beehive, right? There's you got 10,000 bees, and you throw a rock at it, all the bees go out all around you, 100 feet around you, okay? Freeze a moment in time. All the bees are frozen. Those are stars. As you move through that swarm, things are going to change because of parallax. You're going to have things moving, right? Things close here will move faster, things farther. And so, do you know that in all of history, no two stars have ever crossed each other's path. We're spinning, whirling, and twirling, traveling 4.4 billion miles a year. All of the other stars are traveling in their positions. The entire galaxy is spinning, right? There's binary star systems that are all orbiting around each other, and never in history have two stars in the sky crossed paths. Let that sink in, right? Problem is, most people can't let that sink in because they were programmed not to be able to think about simple things like that. They were taught to, well, what do you mean? They're so far away. There's no parallax. That's a story. That's ridiculous. Go just walk around outside and look at all of the objects around you and watch them pass each other. Watch two trees as you go over. They'll change position. One of them will be in front. The other one,
yes,
right. So no two stars have ever crossed each other. Game over. The stars are fixed in the firmament. It is spinning above us.
Yep.
Okay. No two stars.
Yeah. And that's why you have the perfect name for your app, the Flat Earth Clock app, because it is a sky clock
that nobody knows. Flat Earth, sun, moon, and zodiac clock app. But guess where you have to remember to go find it? If you want the app, where do you go?
The Play Store.
FlatEarthDave.com. Forget it.
Play
Store already has the Globies, the sad Globies. When I first put it out, they made another app called by the same name, and every time I added a feature, they tried to add the feature, and it was horrible. It's real, and it's still there. It's horrible. I blew them away. They finally gave up. But a lot of people get the app, and then they get it. Then they email me. They're like, I can't find the videos. I can't find this. This app sucks. I want a refund. I'm like, it's not my app. So I just say go to flatearthdave.com, click the link there. That way there's no question that you're getting the right one. It's by Blue
we do
Water
need
Bay.
to get.
Yeah.
This podcast is growing at a tremendous speed, so we will have to get a Firmamental code for the listeners out there, for the Firmamentalists.
Make one right
and start
now.
pushing this app with our listeners.
Make one right now. Think about anything up to 7 characters. What is it going to be? And then we'll make it for you. And that way people will know. Anyone that's listening that downloads the app.
Well, we always say protect your dome, right? Because it's the firmament, right?
So,
protect your dome.
So you need something up to 7 characters. What's it going to be?
I don't know. Maybe something with the.
That's too many letters.
We'll think of it.
All right.
We'll think of one. We'll think of one. But talking about stars, and I'm going to pass it to Alex. But and we do have a couple more that we want to get into that were submitted to us.
Sure.
Talking about the stars, I do want to talk about the stars because it's interesting to me when you actually look at them through a telescope. And I don't got the greatest telescope here at my house. I have one, but it's not like super expensive or anything. But even just looking in the one that I have, they don't look like the images that NASA shows us of the planets or the stars, right? They look like flickering energy, right? It looks like energy. It looks like it has movement. It almost looks like it's alive, right? And that's what's interesting to me. You did mention at the beginning of the podcast about the stars falling to the earth. If you really actually study what the Bible says, it refers to the stars as being angels.
I agree. I 100% agree. This is, I'm showing here for those of you that are watching, this is Arcturus. You can see this with your naked eye, right? But they won't show you this in school. They won't teach you about this. It's a pulsing orb of energy. This might be pure consciousness. Maybe the stars are angels and they don't move because they are perfection. Okay. They're true perfection, right? They stay exactly where they are, right? And when you start seeing these, also, if you go on the app, if you have the app and you go to the images section, when you're trying to talk to somebody about flat Earth, and you're like, the stars are not what you think. If you go to the images section and then you just type in stars, right? Boom, you got all these.
You did a great job, by the way.
All these cool images of stars.
And go read the descriptions in Ezekiel. Go read the depictions in Enoch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at that. Look at that.
Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff when you look into it. And you could see all sorts of things. Okay.
I need to get a telescope.
Yeah. Well, a Nikon P1000 will do it, but a telescope also. I mean, it's amazing, and all of this is being hidden from you. People are like, that's not what NASA showed me. Look at Venus. Now, people, that's out of focus. Sometimes having something a little bit out of focus actually helps you see the reality of it. But this looks pretty damn sharp to me. Okay, pretty cool stuff, and yeah, it's
so amazing. For the listeners out there that aren't getting the video podcast, he's showing us images of the planets and some of these stars in the sky, and they're absolutely stunning. And you guys need to go get the app and go look at this stuff. And we're going to put all the things that you're referencing, we're going to have in the show notes. You don't got to worry about writing this stuff down. We're going to have it all in the show notes, nice and neat for you guys.
Cool.
Definitely.
So, Alex, did you want to get into another one of the questions for Dave here, or I have one as well?
Yeah, sure. I got a quick one. So Corinne from Alberta, shout out to Corinne. World-renowned astronomers and astrophysicists and authors who've written countless textbooks, for example, the Discovering the Universe 5th edition by Neil Commons of University of Maine. They all agree that the Earth is a globe, and they have all the drawings and images that in the textbooks. And she says that she wants her three Bitcoins from Flat Earth Dave. Because you can't argue with those.
Well, consensus is not, is not fact. Just because everyone believes something doesn't mean that it's true, right? Because what's this? I'm spacing on the words. Consensus is not not factual. It's not, since consensus doesn't mean that
everybody's in on it doesn't mean
it's popular belief, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
So my follow-up to that is, are there any honest astronomers out there that you know of that would share your beliefs.
So the mainstream scientists, the astronomers, they're all funded, and they'll lose all their funding. So either subconsciously they're not going to willing to look at it, or they're knowing deceivers. One or the other, doesn't really matter. They're deceiving you whether they know it or not. Now, there was a bunch of amateur astronomers back. I think it was a recent eclipse a couple years ago. There was an eclipse that happened, and the amateur astronomers did some calculations. They're like, wait a minute, the sun is not, it would have to be farther for this to happen. They did some really good math. Math is, can tell you lots of things. And they're like, the sun has to be farther or closer. I forget what it was, one or the other. And they started this whole online discussion was happening. And then all of a sudden it disappeared, because if the sun is at a different distance, then you have to change the radius of the earth, and you have to change the size and distance of all the planets. That means we didn't go to the moon, because everything would have been wrong and they all would have died. And so everything changes. You move one thing, everything changes. If the earth is bigger, everything changes. Okay. Everything that they say has changed. And so you can't even find those conversations anymore. They're gone. Okay. I don't know what happened to those astronomers. Maybe they're still around. Maybe they were just told to shut up. Maybe, maybe they met the Clintons. Who knows? Right?
Yeah.
So
I did want to also bring up to the listeners, if they haven't heard, and I know you went on the Flat Earth Reality with Robert Lick, and he did a series where he plays Terry Eichers. He answers Professor Dave's 10 questions to flat earthers.
So good.
And
so
dude, he Professor Dave went and turned off the comments because he was getting blown out of the water.
Yeah.
Like, Terry Eicher's doing some good stuff, man. Do you know about that guy? You guys need to get that guy in on one of the conferences, man.
Well,
and
no,
you've got that killer voice.
Terry
too.
doesn't. Terry is we've invited him. We've talked to him. He's not uninterested. And listen, Terry does some good stuff. I've featured his videos a lot. I actually have a whole section of his stuff. I don't know if I have it on the app, but right here, yeah. Here is his breakdown of Professor Dave. It's the full series. It's 2 hours and 48 minutes, right? Fantastic job he did. I like Terry's work. Terry takes other people's work, and so do I, right? But I always give credit. Terry takes it and hides all the information about the other people and posts it as his own. Okay?
That's not really
I don't
cool.
like that. He takes my work. Everyone is welcome to take my work, and you're welcome if you want to make it look like your own. I don't care. But a lot of people spend a lot of time doing the work, and he takes it and he doesn't do anything. Like, everyone thinks he interviewed Ruth, the 102-year-old woman that I interviewed. Okay.
That was you.
Yeah. Like, he did. Like, I don't know how he did that. Like, how the hell did he get me out of the video? Whatever. He does more good. I'm not gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater because stuff. Anyone that puts good information out, I'm willing to share it. But again, on the debunker section, Terry's stuff is right there. And phony professor dumb Dave, he calls it. So if you click that puppy, up comes a great video. And
that's one of the new features of the app, right? Is this search engine where you can actually just go in and type in the words and it brings up the videos directly, right?
Actually, that's not out yet. That's actually coming hopefully this week. We're literally testing it tomorrow morning. So right now we have search for images, and you can pull up all those images, and we're adding tons more images. But we're going to have a video search that will only search the flat earth videos. It won't let YouTube deliver anything else. It's only going to search. So if you're like, what was that circumnavigation video? Or what was that, Terry, you can even type in Terry and his videos will come right up. Okay. So it's going to be a great search feature, and hopefully it'll be, there'll be an update. What's today? Monday. Today's Monday. So hopefully by Wednesday or Thursday, there'll be an update, and we'll have a new search button. There'll be a button right in the corner up here. It'll be a search button.
Right on.
Yeah, because with the Google censorship, you can't find anything on your own anymore unless you're subscribed to those channels and go check the channels. You're not going to find it.
Oh yeah, man. We know the active censoring is a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's been like that for how long? Since what, 2017 now?
2017 when we broke the scoreboard and they took it down.
Yeah, you said we broke the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex. So did you get the answer that you want for your the astronomers?
I think so. Yeah. One of the things that would keep me up at night would be flights on the plane, and one of the things that killed the globe for me was when I started to realize the Earth's rotation and how fast it is, and how come pilots are not using the Earth's rotation to their advantage. To me, that's a globe killer, Dave.
Well, the Globers will say, well, you can't because because we're already spinning with the Earth. There's like you already have that momentum, right? So if you're on the equator and you're sitting on a runway, you're moving 1,000 miles an hour to the east. Okay. So when you take off, you still have that momentum. That's what they say, which is ridiculous because you can fly in circles, but somehow you still have that momentum. Okay. But if you're in northern Alaska, your momentum's only like 300 miles an hour because you're making a smaller circle around the pole. So if you fly to Ecuador and try to land on a north-south runway that's moving 1,000 miles an hour, how do you gain that 700 miles an hour of sideways speed to land on it? Well, the gravity slowly speeds you up as you go around. So you're on the equator and you're moving sideways at 1,000 miles an hour. And you fly up to North America, you're 700 miles an hour, and over Alaska, 300 miles an hour. And you get over the North Pole and you just start pivoting like a pirouette, like a ballet dancer. So the airplane just literally just spins. Okay. It's so stupid that I explained it and people are like, well, I don't understand that, Yeah, you don't understand it because it's retarded. I'm sorry, I used the word.
Yeah, well, it's not real. Well, they expect us to believe in all these invisible forces and all these fancy mathematical numbers. Like, look, I'm not a mathematician and I'm not a scientist, but I think I'm smart enough to let my senses speak for themselves. And it's much easier for me to just think that it is what it is. It is what I see, right? And that's, I mean, for a simpleton like me, that's what makes flat Earth make sense, right? I mean, I live here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I don't know if you're aware of Albuquerque, New Mexico, but we just had the Balloon Fiesta, which is the world's biggest balloon gathering, in hot air balloon gathering in the world. It happens once a year.
Yeah.
These balloons go up, they're still here in Albuquerque. They're not, 1,000 miles away in an hour, but according to them, it's relevant to the universe and it's the theory of relativity and gravity holding it all together in this pressurized system. But it doesn't make sense.
Right. When I was talking about the spinning, think about a balloon, the balloons at the equator are going 1,000 miles an hour. The balloon in the North Pole is spinning around like a ballet dancer. Okay. And the balloon halfway in between is going at another angle at a different speed, somehow maintaining its position over the Earth. And the funny thing is, when we send balloons up, they land east of where they came down, where they went up. So how did they outrun the spin of the Earth? Right? How did they gain speed and up when they're detached from the Earth? Okay. Because your mind can't process that equation, that physical model, doesn't mean that it's not true. It just means that you've been indoctrinated not to be able to think. Okay.
Yeah.
And once you train your mind to start understanding how absolutely insane and absurd this is, the spinning of the Earth, it's, then you'll start to see it.
Well, just water curving too. Water curving doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
Like, I've never poured water into a container, and let's say I drop a golf ball in the bottom of a shot glass, right? And when I pour the water on top, is because there's a ball underneath it, does it make the water curve? No, the water's still laying flat in the shot glass, right?
Right.
And so they expect us to think that water's curving around this thing. Like, what would the Earth look like in their model if you drained it of all its water? My partner Alex brought this up before, and then you fill it back, start filling it back up.
Yeah, it's a big lumpy. They show this big lumpy rock, but then then Neil deGrasse Tyson addressed that already. He's like, well, it's really if you shrunk the Earth, the lumpy Earth, down to the size of a cue ball, it would be smoother than a cue ball. Okay, because of that size, those little holes. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's
Oh,
unbelievable.
that's their gravitron. That's their gravitron
Yeah,
that they. I mean, they have only went what 7.5 miles down.
right.
They
That's
know less about what's supposedly. Yeah.
right. And people don't realize when an airplane, on a globe has to be diving over a globe, and you don't realize that the spin is absolutely ridiculous. When you cross the poles, you have to change directions. Right? It's so stupid that people can't fathom it. And so they're like, well, it must be true because airplanes fly. Yeah, airplanes fly straight and level over the earth plane. They don't fly upside down on a spinning ball in a scientifically impossible space vacuum where all of the air would just disappear. Well, gravity's holding the air down. It's a little exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
Is the ozone layer a real thing?
I think there's ozone up there. I think that there's a pressure gradient where the air gets thinner and thinner, and the lighter gases are up higher. But the whole thing is a homogeneous system that's being blown around. Gravity can hold the air down, but a summer breeze can push the air left, right, up, down. Right? Gravity can hold cruise ships upside down. Right? But we can hold our arms up, and birds can fly, and
butterflies can float around.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's disheartening.
So I got a couple for you.
Go ahead.
I wanted to get into a couple things. So I had a friend that just came and visited me from California. So I'm in New Mexico. They're driving back to California today. They went through Arizona and they drove by Meteor Crater. And his daughter, who's I think 16 or 17 years old, shout out to Lucy Vaughn. This is her question. But she says, if the firmament is real and flat earth is real and the firmament is real and it's protecting us from meteors slamming into the earth, then why is there such places as Meteor Crater, Arizona?
Yeah, because that's not a meteor crater. Yeah. We've seen, meteors that have come to earth, and they're all filmed by dashboard cameras in Russia. We never see them here, and they all come in at a steep angle. Right? A steep angle would leave a gash, not a perfect circle. So if you just look up methane craters in Alaska or not in Siberia, there's bubbles that come up through the earth. Okay. The earth, at certain vibrations, things will happen, liquefies the ground. That happened on 9/11, in Shanksville, it swallowed a plane so deep and then it solidified, right? Baloney, right? So when you understand what these are on the app, on the frequently asked questions page, bottom row, meteors and asteroids, there's a whole bunch of videos. One of them is by Terry Eicher, and showing you what the craters are from their old geysers and their old methane bubbles, and they're all perfectly round. If you compare them to a geyser, they're indistinguishable. You can't tell the difference perfectly.
Yeah.
Think about this. Every year in August, we have I think it's the Perseus meteor shower. I think the second or third week in August. And the story is that a comet went by hundreds of years ago or whenever, and we're just going through the tail, the dusty, dirty tail at that time during the year. But you don't realize we're orbiting the sun. The sun's moving at 500,000 miles per hour. A year later on August, we're 4.4 billion miles from that path, unless that path is traveling with us and orbiting the sun. Like, how's that happening? Is that path going 500,000 miles an hour, that path of debris that we go through every August? And if we went through a path of debris, you would see craters. I mean, not craters, meteors, right? So we're in North America, and a meteor that's going down for us would be going up for somebody in the south. So how come we don't see meteors shooting up from the horizon? The heliocentric model would require it. How come we don't see them going up? We never see them going up. Okay, never. Right? And
that's a silver bullet to me. That's one that I provided for.
And whenever they show us a modern day meteor, it's coming in literally like a friggin' airplane. It's just a weapon that they shot from an airplane and they filmed it on purpose. So look, a meteor, and it keeps everyone afraid of meteors, right? Afraid of meteors, NASA nonsense. right? Okay. Which one? Well, you see the label meteor and geyser, same thing, right? Meteor crater geyser, same thing. A meteor crater is just a dried up geyser.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So I have another one. We had a recent guest and we talked about the firmament, and we got a little bit more in depth on this episode about the firmament. And we were talking about the sky ice, but he got into, I'll read what he sent me. He just says sky ice, and whether or not the entire Earth system is enclosed by this minus 400 degree Fahrenheit substance. Think a crock pot / brazen steam made up of this substance that can actually bend or flex with the Earth system and heal itself, like we talked about before. That's not what he sent me. So, but what he's talking about is, so they say that pure oxygen exposed to a magnetic state can harden itself to a crystalline like substance. And we were talking about it in the episode, and he was theorizing, like, what if some of these falling stars or meteors or whatever that we think that they are actually fragments of the firmament falling off into our atmosphere, and then when they reach a certain point they ignite because it's pure oxygen, right? And then that's what we're seeing falling is fragments of the firmament, and then it can actually heal itself in this toroidal field, that has its energy charge with the Arctic and the Antarctic, right?
Right.
So kind of look at it like that,
Well, I mean, I can't rule it out. Got to think about that. What would make it be cyclic like it is? Why at the same time every year? Why would it be doing that? I think it's an electrical phenomenon. It could be, something like that, where the firmament is dropping little pieces, and but to believe that a rock falling from space will burn up is ridiculous. Okay, they want us to believe that because NASA made us believe that. They want us to believe in asteroids. They want us to believe that when their second stage of the rocket drops down, the space shuttle, the external tank is supposedly burns up. It's like 10 tons of steel. It's going to burn up because of air. When have you seen steel deatomize because of air? Right?
Okay. This is another one from our friend Colin. And he was saying, ask Dave, has he considered starting a GoFund or a FundMe for an independent launch of 2 separate rockets at the same time, and then have them film each other while suspended at the highest altitude possible, like those with balloons that float way up, but with 2 separate that can see each other from 1,000 to 2,000 miles away, let's say, proving absolutely no curvature or rotation. It would be difficult, but not impossible.
It would be impossible, but not only difficult, but impossible.
Yeah.
But whoops, that's not what I'm showing you. We have the Go Fast rocket. Where is it? Hold on one second. So you guys are familiar with the Go Fast rocket, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it? Why is it doing that?
Definitely worth everybody to go check that out who's listening at home.
Yeah. So here's the Go Fast rocket.
Is it still on YouTube or is it on the mobile?
Well, it's I actually had, there's a button on the app that's just for about the Go Fast rocket. And it's hard to find. You try to look for it, you're gonna find all nonsense pieces. But this thing went up, and then kerplunk, it went right into like a plasma, right? And based on the whistleblowers that we've spoken with and everything else, I think it becomes like plasma, then water, and then solid above us. But it went up. All right, so this is their experiment right here. It went up and it filmed the moon. Now, if that was another rocket that far away, you would never see it. And how would you even know to get it there? But luckily, the moon is its own light, and we could see the moon along with the flat horizon, right? So we saw the moon, right? So there's the moon. Well, where was this rocket taken off? Well, the rocket took off in Arizona around 11 o'clock in the morning. Sun's right here at 12. And the moon was over Australia. Okay. If the Earth was a basketball and Arizona was on the top of the basketball, their rocket was a fraction of a millimeter over the basketball, and the moon was directly below that basketball. Okay. This alone proves that the Earth is not a ball, period. But Globies don't care. Well, forget that. You can show them. We saw the moon from the Go Fast rocket. We can see mountains 700 miles away where the tops of those mountains should be 40 miles below a physical curvature. We can show you that the boats that disappear from the bottom up can be zoomed back in. And we can show you that you shouldn't be able to see Chicago. The tops of the buildings should be hidden. And we can see all of the skyline. We can show you laser tests on frozen lakes. We can show you everything. But then there's the one thing they don't understand. Well, what about sunsets? The sun's disappearing over the water, and there looks like there's light underneath the clouds because the sun's below it. That just has to do with the way that we see in perspective, right?
I think it's the same way with Christians too. They want to hold on to the one scripture about God and the circle of the earth, right? Well, and then they point, but what they don't understand is that word that they were using. You can have a circular round table.
You can't have a spherical circle table. A circle, look it up. A circle is a line on a plane, a flat surface, where every point on that line is equidistant from a center point. That's the definition of a circle, right?
Yeah.
But when you want to talk about the four corners of the earth, I like that. What if the earth was set up like that map that was published in the Hawaiian newspaper, where it has like 30 other continents outside of where we live, right? Four corners of the earth. What if this is the biblical earth? This is all of the earth. In the Bible, where does it say there's only 8 continents? In the Bible, where does it say that the earth is a ball? Where in the Bible, where does it say Antarctica is the continent on the bottom of the ball? None of this. It doesn't say it anywhere. Nowhere. So what if this is God's whole earth and they've trapped us here in the center? They've trapped us here and they're literally, Satan has taken over this. And maybe, the controllers have the ability to live out here in paradise, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting to think about those things.
Do you think there's other suns out there, Dave, in the outer?
Well, Admiral Byrd, when he did his Project High Jump, some of the logs said they were flying out, their communications were lost, so they couldn't communicate back with base, but they kept on going. All of a sudden, they saw Greenland and they saw a lake, and they saw animals like large elephant-looking animals, like a woolly mammoth or something, and again, we don't have this is secondhand information. But then they said the ambient temperature was 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, there's got to be another sun out there. I don't think, as you guys saw in today's featured video, I don't think the sun that we see is the actual sun. Okay,
you're talking about black hole sun?
No, I think the source sun is in the firmament, just like the Bible says, in the firmament. We're under the firmament. Okay. And so people get a upside down glass jar or a half dome, paperweight glass, and hold a light above it and then look inside of it. You'll see a sun floating in the middle. It's amazing. You'll see a sun floating inside there. So the sun that we see is the sun that's in our personal atmospheric dome. But the actual sun is, as the Bible says, is within the firmament. This is me. This is my opinion. Okay. And what's this one? Hold on. And so that's how we see the sun. So maybe the way the sky is shaped, the actual sun will light up all areas, all different areas. Okay. Maybe we have a little bit of a dome over us, and then it goes back up over Antarctica, and it's capturing that energy and focusing it in there. Like if you had if you had two magnifying glasses and you're burning ants like you did when you were a kid, okay? It's the same source sun making two little hot spots.
So this actually happened in Albuquerque, New Mexico 2 years ago, and I remember because Gabby, who's my significant other, she brought this up, but she was like, remember a few years ago when the sun was setting on the west side, but there was another sun on the east side. This phenomenon happened here a couple years ago.
It happens all the time. And people just write it off. It's kind of amazing. I want to show you guys something, but I don't want to do that. All right. So this is the guy. For those who, I'll describe what I'm saying. I got a glass half dome on a rug, and I'm moving a light just across above it. And inside of it, it looks amazing in person. It looks like a little ball sun in there. And it just stops at the horizon and fades out. And then when the light comes back, it appears on the horizon again. It rises. And if you were inside of this dome, there's your sun. I think when we see the sunrise in the morning and set in the afternoon, from the place that you see it rise, the place that you see it set, I think it's well under 200 miles.
Wow.
The sun that we see, okay? The sun that we see in the app on the FAQ page, go to where does the sun go? Go to the eclipses section. Watch those videos, open your mind, and understand that the heliocentric lie is massive.
Massive. Alex,
And
you got any more questions for Dave?
it's man, you're blowing me away. But okay, so I would say for a Glober Silver Bullet, if you were like stationed at Deception Island in Antarctica on December 21st, if we all went there on a trip and we stayed there for 24 hours, we should have 24 hours of sunlight if it was a globe, right?
Supposedly, but they'll claim, well, you're not really far enough south, and it's not the case. There was a woman that I actually just had a phone call with, a Zoom call, who was inspired by me, and she actually booked a trip to Antarctica with her daughter. Okay. And she went last January, early January. And she said that she was stargazing a lot. Well, wait a minute. That's nighttime. How are you stargazing in January in Antarctica? Okay.
Right.
So, and the thing is, Antarctica is pricey to go to. They don't let you go explore anywhere. She said there is no opportunity to go anywhere. You get nowhere near the quote unquote ice wall. You get nowhere near it. Okay. In the app on the FAQ page on the Antarctica and the 24-hour sun videos, there's a whole bunch breaking down the fake videos that they have showing the 24-hour sun, clearly fake, not just us saying it, clearly fake. But there's a video by Flat Earth Banjo about where he compiled all of the webcams from all of the different bases. Okay.
Yeah, I remember this one.
And it showed that there's not 24-hour sun. You have these bases allegedly in these positions, and he synced them all up. They should have been dark. Some of them were light, some were dark. Nonsense. If the Earth is a globe, equal latitudes north and equal latitudes south would have the same light and dark animal life, everything 6 months apart, but they don't. Where are you guys again? Minnesota? Where are you guys?
I'm in New Mexico.
In Calgary.
Okay. So right now we're heading towards winter and the days are getting shorter. Right?
Right.
Correct.
Okay. So in June, when the sun sets, how long is it still light outside? Like if you're having a barbecue, the sunset, how long is it light? I would guess like 90 minutes, right? Maybe 2 hours.
I was going to say my when the sun disappears on June 21st, it's probably around 11 o'clock at night.
Where are you?
Okay, yeah, I was going to say it. 9 o'clock.
I'm near Calgary, Alberta.
Okay, but you're saying the light disappears. The sun disappears before that, but the light from the sun.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm talking about like all the light being totally gone. Sunset's probably around 10.
Follow this, and a lot of people can't. You can. Okay, every latitude, every terrain. Like if you have mountains 100 miles away from you versus somebody at the same latitude that has no mountains, they're going to have light longer than you. Because the mountain's not going to block the light, even though those mountains look like they're at eye level, they're way over your head. But no matter where you are, there's a time from when the sun sets to when it's dark. Okay. And in June, it's the longest for us. And in December, it's the shortest for us. If the Earth was a globe, equal latitude south would have the reciprocal, right? So as our days are getting shorter in the north, not the day length, because that's different. The time from sunset to dark is getting shorter for us every day until December. Guess what? It's getting shorter for every place on Earth, even in the South. Now, I'm not saying how long their days are or how long the time from sunset to darkness is getting shorter every single day for everybody until December. And then from December to June, it'll get longer. That only works on a flat Earth, because on a flat Earth, the reason it's getting shorter is because when the sun is out near the Tropic of Capricorn, it's going faster. If the sun's over the equator and it's going 1,000 miles an hour, okay, when it's over Capricorn, maybe it's going 1,300 miles an hour. And when it's over Cancer, it's only going 700 miles an hour. Okay. It's still doing a 360 because it's a smaller circle. Cancer is a smaller circle than Capricorn. The equator is in between. So as the sun marches out on the hour hand, it has to make a bigger sweep. So when it sets, it takes its light away with it faster. You guys, you've definitely seen my sun fade out video, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize though that it was actually getting faster on the outer loop.
We just realized this. We just realized this recently.
Okay.
We just found this out recently, and we actually have a guy in. We have a couple of people measuring. They've already proven it, but they're measuring through the end of the year. Every day it's getting shorter. Okay, it's a lot of measurements, but when you watch, the sun will travel. The sun travels 15 degrees per hour. Not really, but close to it. But when it gets down to the horizon, if you have a nice far horizon, which means no land obstacles, no clouds, no thick atmosphere, no humidity, the sun will just stop and it'll sit here. It'll just sit on the horizon and it'll take its light away with it. But in December, it's running faster. So it's going to take its light faster. In June, it's moving slower. So it's going to take its light slower. Right? But it's not going down. It should just always be going down. If the Earth is a globe, it should be going down. But it gets to the point where it can't. And so it'll take its light with it faster. Right?
So it's perspective is what you're saying.
It's not perspective. It's the throw of light doesn't go for billions of miles. Just imagine yourself in a gymnasium. Lights out, pitch black. The gymnasium's a mile wide. And you've got a light, a lantern. Okay? And you guys are hanging out and and one of you grabs the light and says, I'm going to go for a run. And you go running a couple miles across. You're not even going to be able to see the light anymore. And forget it. There's no atmosphere. There's no obstacles in your way. It's going to take the light with it. He's just going to take the light with it. But then when you add atmosphere and perspective and land features and everything, it just goes. It just goes. So there's a whole bunch of these videos on the app that I'm showing right here. They're in the frequently asked question, not the frequently asked question area, but in the more resources, the bottom row right there.
Nice. I definitely want to gift the app to some of my listeners and some of the friends that contributed, and there's an option for that on the app, right?
Yeah, well, on iOS, all you have to do is go to the App Store, and then let me show you. If you go to let me see if I do this.
We should do that as a prize for some of our listeners. That'd be cool.
If you go on iOS, if you go to the App Store, we'll go sideways. No, we'll go sideways. You go to the App Store. You have to click the little share button up here, the little arrow square, and if you click that and then scroll down, you'll see gift app right there. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can gift it. But you can only gift it to other Apple users in the same country. You can't gift it to somebody in another country. Android doesn't offer that, but if you email support@theflatearthpodcast.com and say how many you want. We'll set it up where you can buy them offline, and then you get a gift card. You get like a digital gift cards to give to people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I don't know. Alex might be screwed up there with Trudeau in Canada with how much he loves flat earthers.
Man, they're working hard to censor it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, real quick too, give us some thoughts on Mount Meru. What's your takes on Mount Meru? Or what have you heard? Any interesting stuff or any mind-blowing stuff on Mount Meru?
I saw some video of the center. You've seen that vortexy video like from years ago that shows like it looks like a black hole, just like what is going on there. It looks like the center of like a big vortex. And then I saw some weather map videos, and you could see that the mountain is sticking up, causing the wind to go around it. It's like you can see the tip of Mount Meru in this weather video, right? Showing the wind speeds. Okay, you could see that it's perturbing the wind. But if you go now, you guys are familiar with the Iwarnon, right? Iwarnon and the map, the Prague clock, right? You guys.
Oh yes, I've been to Prague. Prague. I've seen it.
So you know the big Prague clock, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that one shows this cycle, this 26,000 year cycle. Here's the problem, right? This green area is our known world, right? And then this is all our unknown world, right? And this right here, this red line is our North Pole. Okay. Well, they say our North Pole is making this 26,000 year cycle. And so when our North Pole's over here, the sun will be over here. This will be Iceland, and this will be melted. Problem is, what about Mount Meru? How does Mount Meru move? If Mount Meru is at the north, how's it going? And I was on a podcast with Flat Earth Banjo and his map maker, what was it? The guy that restores the maps. I've been on so many shows. And we both came up with the idea, what if Mount Meru was a floating mountain? Now, I know that sounds crazy in our world. But look at the pyramids. Look at the giant stuff that was built.
Yeah.
Look at everything. What if Mount Meru has its own, if Mount Meru is a magnetic field, well, it's got a charge to it, right? We know that if we negative charge things, they come right off the floor, right? Lightning strikes, things go flying in the air. It's because it's changing the charge of the earth and changing the polarity of everything just for a split second. We can make things fly by putting a negative charge into them, the silent drone, everything. And what if Mount Meru is what floats around here? Okay. To me, it makes perfect sense. But again, we don't know. We want the right to go explore. We want our airships back. Right?
I wish I could remember which one it was, but I swear and it's been quite a few years now, but I saw a anime cartoon where there is a floating mountain in the cartoon, and oh man, now it's killing me. I'm not going to be able to think of the name of it, but watch. Any listeners?
I want to see that.
What I'm talking about?
I want to see that.
Email me.
Yeah.
There's a cartoon that has I don't think it's Avatar, but one of them though, that they have a mountain in the north that floats.
So is it just a coincidence, Dave, that this looks like the surface of the moon? Like, is this the reflection of the moon theory?
Yeah. Well, this does look like the surface of the moon, and there's something there. Now, people say, well, is it a reflection? I don't know if that's the right word. I think it's a fractal of where we live. Okay. I think that all of this stuff is tied together. All of this stuff is connected. Women's reproductive cycles are based on the moon cycle.
Yep.
It's not a rock floating in space. Okay. Right. I think that all women.
Thank you.
I think everyone used to be, but now it used to be synced to it. But now, because of all the artificial frequencies and everything, people are absolutely lost. Our what's the word I'm looking for? They're out of sync. They're out of sync because of all of the artificial frequencies.
Right.
Hey, not just to mention that, but that's other things that we talk about on this show too, because we're not just a flat earth or true earth, podcast where we talk about the firmament, but like, we know, man, they're poisoning our environment. They're poisoning us. They're injecting us with stuff. They're injecting our food with stuff, wave frequencies. I mean, we're getting poisoned, not only just spiritually, physically, mentally, like on all these different levels. They're manipulating our environments. They're manipulating our realities. And it's hard, you have to really actively go after the truth. But I really honestly believe, like, you pray and ask for discernment and you will receive it, but you can't receive unless you ask.
Right.
You can't receive unless you ask.
And unless you allow, right? Unless you allow, you are your worst enemy. You are your worst enemy. This is the prog clock I'm showing here. And there used to be a flat earth map in here, but they changed it to a globe. Gee, what's going on there? Okay. This is the great 26,000 year cycle. This is what they call precession. This is a flat earth clock. It's very, very old. The Mechanical Realm, go check it out. Go watch the preview. Go watch the video. It's great. And it is a death nail, themechanicalrealm.com. If you forget, just go to
I wanted you to touch on
shopping cart.
I heard you talk about a movie called Origins Untold. Can you touch on that real quick?
That's in the shopping cart area. I'm in that movie, by the way. Okay. Origins Untold. And it's a story of a guy that heard someone told him the earth was flat, and he's like, I gotta figure this out. And he travels around America visiting flat earthers. He visited me, he visited Mark Sargent, he visited the Flat Earth Brothers, a whole bunch of other people. And just basically it was like a unscripted, like him learning about flat earth. And in the end, I won't, no spoiler alert, but let's just say it's not a hit piece. So it's
there you go. So is it a documentary or
it's a documentary? I think it's in 2 film festivals right now. I think it either won or is in contending to win for a win in a film festival. But go to flatearthdave.com. Origins Untold is right there. Click it. Buy it. I think it's $6. Okay, $6. Great flick. People are like, I'm not spending money on a video. Baloney. Come on. You have Netflix. You have HBO. You have all this other stuff. You go to the movies, spend friggin' $90 there to eat some crap and watch a propaganda movie. $6. And it's good. Not because I'm in it. Because it's a good movie. It's really, but it's different. It's different than, the Hibbler movies, right? The Hibbler, who did Level, The Next Level and Level with Me, right? On the app, whether you know it or not, if you hit the web button, the one that looks like a spider web, and you scroll down and go to full length videos, great documentaries there. Amazing stuff. Amazing, mind-blowing videos. Part of my Bitcoin challenge, is you have to watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks and then send me your proof, but check the frequently asked questions first before you waste my time. Watch 3 of these videos, then send me your proof. The thing is, it's scientifically impossible to watch 3 of the videos in this list and not be a flat earther. So if you don't want to be a flat earther, don't watch these videos, okay? And these videos are all being hidden from your Google searches, right? You won't find them. You won't find them easily.
Are those all free on YouTube?
These are all free on YouTube, but YouTube will not let you find them unless you type in the exact name of the video and the channel name. Okay, just type in Flat Earth. Here's the thing.
I think that's the most tremendous thing about your app is these videos that I could never find. I used to want to tell people about them, and you're literally right. And I think not only do you have to type in every letter right, you have to get the spacing right. You have to get the spelling right. You have to get where they use capitals. You got to get that right. And if you don't have it exactly the way that it's listed in the video, you're not going to find it. So that's a great thing about your app is all these videos that you can't find, all these videos that people are looking for. Go get this app, people. You're going to find these videos.
FlatEarthDave.com. But check this out. If go to everyone that's listening, go to your YouTube and go to your YouTube history. And in the history on the top right, there's a little search your history and search for that video on how to make a chocolate cake that you watched 2 years ago. It will show up. Search for a video on the Loch Ness Monster, on COVID, on whatever that you watched last week, last month, last year. It will show up in your history. Okay. Now go watch a whole bunch of videos that say flat earth that are on my channel, DITRH, or on Jaronism's channel, but real flat earth videos, not hit pieces. Watch them. Then look at your history, your recent history. They'll be right there. You'll see them. They'll be there. Great. Then go to your search and search flat earth. None of them will show up. Only propaganda videos will show up. Okay? But the videos that you just watched today, last week, last year about flat earth will not show up in your search. No other topic has this issue. Now, we've been saying this for a while now, a couple of weeks, and they do listen to us. They're going to change the algorithm, and they're going to show up, okay? They're going to change it to the point where, like, this guy already knows the earth is flat. Let's let him watch whatever he wants, right? But somebody that searches flat earth for the first time isn't going to find any of this stuff. But right now, last time I checked, they do not show up. If I search flat earth in my history, Professor Dave comes up, Simon Dan comes up, all of the paid deceivers out there. And that should make you wonder. That should be like, why is that the only topic? You could search up JFK assassination, anything. Flat earth.
So you're talking to me. I'm talking about election integrity. I'm talking about injectable medications. I'm talking about
they'll all show up
because those are other ones that they like to.
If they're on YouTube, those ones you talked about, those get pulled from YouTube. But if they're on YouTube, they'll go into your history and they'll be searchable in your history. Right. But if you search for flat earth in your history and you just watch 50 flat earth videos, none of them will show up. That's a problem. That's a problem. All right, guys. Anything else?
Yeah.
I would just like to give Dave a great idea, and I have to be careful because my wife will throw a shoe at my head. But if you could put like a lunar calendar of women's cycles in there, and for us flat Earth guys to know when to protect ourselves each month, that would be perfect.
So can I tell you my joke? My joke, my most favorite joke. The guy's walking along the beach and he finds a lamp and he rubs it, and the genie comes out, and genie goes, "You can have one wish." He's like, "One wish? Why not three?" He's like, "It's like hard times, man. One wish. What do you want?" He goes, "Well, I've always been afraid to fly. I live in California and I want to go to Hawaii, but I don't want to fly and I'm afraid of boats. Can you build me a bridge from California to Hawaii?" And the genie goes, "Are you kidding me? Think of the footings, the construction, the amount of cement." He's like, can you come up with something easier?" And he goes, "Okay." He goes, "I really haven't had luck with women. I just can't figure them out. Can you help me understand women?" And the genie thinks and he goes, 2 lanes or 4 lanes?
Oh, that's
nice.
Perfect.
All right. You probably heard that already, but that's a good joke. Come on.
I didn't hear it. That's amazing.
Tell your wife that joke.
Nah, we love
not on the wrong day of the month.
Right.
Hey, so I got it, man. You said come up with something 7 letters, man. We've been started calling it not just Firmamentalists, but Firm Fam, FIRM FAM.
FIRM. So in the app, if you open up the friend finder and then you click this button up here, which will show your status, which is probably just blue or orange, and then click the edit pencil and put in Firm Fam. Make sure you do that before you air the podcast. And then make sure you put a little bumper at the beginning telling people about Firm Fam, because a whole bunch of people will download the app and then they'll come and it's too late. And, and then it's a pain in the ass. All right. So do that and then create your name. And only one of you can do that. Only one of you. Okay. And then your username, write your full podcast name. So when you show up on the leaderboard, people see your podcast.
Awesome. Well, hey, we're grateful for your time, sir. And is there any other features or anything else that you wanted to mention to our listeners that are be coming up on the app, or these other events that you got going on? Any films? Anything you want to talk about?
So in the Flat Earth movies section, there's level with me, and the next level. I'm in the next level and level with me. Those 2 movies are great. I was in the Origins Untold. That movie's great, not just because I'm in it, as I said, but there's so many good films. It's amazing. Also, on the Friend Finder, you guys know that we added a profile section where you can actually, it's like Facebook now, but not like Facebook, because it's good stuff. and you could put in, you can search for other people. You can become friends with them. You can post stuff. People are using it as a dating site. They're using it as a true friend finder. They're using it as a job site. You're going to be able to search for people,
Wow.
criteria. Like, let's say I'm going to Mexico and I type in, Mexico, Puerto Morelos, kite surfers, and anyone that's a kite surfer in Puerto Morelos, I'll be able to find them and I'll message them. You can also, as you know, you can tap on a dot anywhere, anyone that's around you, and you can send them a message and you can start a chat. You can start a group, and it's bringing people together. Some people have issues like, why are we on the app? Shouldn't we be going to Antarctica? We need to get together first, right? I live here on Long Island Sound. Like, I could ping this guy or this guy and say, hey, let's do a mirror flash test, and we could do a little test, right? But how would I know he's there without the app? So again,
yeah,
get together, send out a radius message. I could send out to 50 kilometers and tell everybody, hey, we're having a meetup at the park, at the pizza place, whatever. And then everybody shows up. We did it last spring, and we had 80 people show up, 70, 80 people show up. It was awesome.
Hey, it's a good way to promote our podcast with listeners in our area as well.
100%. 100%. All right, guys.
Yeah, awesome.
Send me a link.
Yeah, be looking up,
and we'll share it.
Looking out for Firmamental coming up on the block. And Alex, you got any last comments?
I'm just so grateful to meet you, Dave, and hopefully we'll get to meet you in person one day. And thanks so much for your time.
All right, man. See you guys. Cheers.
All right. Protect your dome, guys. We'll see you next time.
All right, guys. Later.